Hello everyone and welcome to Nova Network. Today I'm going to be teaching you on how to create and deploy your very own cryptocurrency using Nova Network. We're going to do this using Nova Network's testnet environment called Nebula Testnet, but you can easily repeat the process and follow the exact same steps using the mainnet as your network of choice, so you can then deploy and pair your newly created cryptocurrency with more existing and broadly used cryptocurrencies. This is to be an ultimate beginner's guide, so we're going to be covering everything from installing MetaMask and creating a crypto wallet, adding Nova Network and Nebula Testnet to MetaMask, using the testnet faucet, deploying your cryptocurrency, and finally making your cryptocurrency tradable on Fusion. So feel free to skip ahead if you're already familiar with some of the topics we're going to be talking about here. And there will be links to all platforms, pages, and websites we're going to be using down on the description. So with no further ado, let's just start by saying that there are two main types of cryptocurrencies, coins and tokens, and despite there's no official definition for them, it is just broadly accepted that coins are referred to as being native assets of blockchains, normally used for paying for transaction fees, securing network, and so on. And tokens, on the other hand, are assets living inside a given network or blockchain. There are pros and cons to both, but this discussion is probably outside of the scope of this video. And all you really need to know is that in order to transact with a token cryptocurrency, normally it will be required for you to have some of the native coin in your wallet so you can pay for the transaction fees. In this guide, we are going to be deploying a token cryptocurrency. So starting from the beginning, the very first thing you have to do is to set up your crypto wallet. So we are going to go ahead and start by downloading and installing MetaMask, which is a very popular browser extension and mobile app that allows you to interact with several different EVM compatible networks. In this case, I'm using Edge and I'll install the browser extension. So all you really need to do is to go to their official website, click on download, and install MetaMask to whatever browser you are using. In this case, it has referred us to the Edge add-ons page, where we're going to click on Get, Add Extension. It will download the extension, install the extension, and as soon as everything is ready to go, we'll be prompted to set up our MetaMask. And there you go, it's very quick, very straightforward. So all we need to do is to click on Get Started. We're going to create a new wallet, and let's start by setting up a password. Of course, the recommendation is to always use strong passwords, because anyone with this will be able to have access to all your cryptocurrency and all your assets. So once you have set your password, you'll be prompted to back up your secret recovery phrase. Explaining exactly what a secret recovery phrase is also outside of the scope of this video, but this is a very important step. I'm gonna skip this one for the sake of time, but this is something that is absolutely not recommended and you need to treat it very seriously. So let's go ahead and click on Remind Me Later, and that's pretty much it. So we have our crypto wallet set up. You will see that you are already connected to Ethereum, but in this case we want to connect to both Nova Network and Nebula Testnet, so we will have to add both networks manually because MetaMask is not natively or by default compatible with both. So let's go ahead and add network. I will type all the details in here, but you don't need to remember any of this. You can just use your documents library and copy and paste all this information into your MetaMask. So let's add Nova Network first. So just go ahead and click on Save. It will connect, and As easy as that, we are connected to Nova Network. Now let's add Nebula testnet. Let's go ahead and save it. And again, very easy, very quick. We are connected to Nebula testnet. So we'll keep connecting, or we'll carry on using Nebula testnet, which is the testnet environment of Nova Network, and everything we do here doesn't cost real money. So it's a very good way for developers or enthusiasts to just test things around. So now that we have our wallet, we have connected to the network. The next step will be to get some NBX. You see that our balance is currently zeroed out, so we can pay for the transaction fees that we are gonna need to submit in order to create our cryptocurrency. So you can access our faucet using the link faucet.novanetwork.io, and some websites will require you to connect your wallet with them in order for you to interact with their protocols. Some of those websites will just show you a pop-up, or you'll be able to connect with the click of a button, and some websites will require you to connect your wallet manually. In this case, we are connecting our wallet manually, and the process is also very straightforward. So we're using the browser extension. You see that you can also use it in here, and all we need to do is to click on account options, connected sites, and manually connect to the current site. So click on next, connect, and you know that you are connected because you'll see your wallet address in here, save, and you will see the green light with connected right written beside it in your MetaMask wallet. So we are connected. All we need to do now is to go ahead and request some NBX to be sent to our wallet, and we can do that using this button over here. At times this transaction might take several seconds or just a few seconds. It all depends on the network itself and how much traffic is going through the validators and a bunch of other factors at the time that you submit the transaction. So you will know that your transaction has been submitted because you will see a transaction hash shown in here, and all you really need to do is to click on MetaMask and check if you have received your balance yet. So we have not, and this is quite normal. This process can take some time, and there we go. We've got our 0.1 NBX, which should be plenty for us to deploy our cryptocurrency at this time. You can use the wallet. You can request up to 2 NBX for each wallet that you have, but in this case it's really not needed. So now we have our wallet set up, and we have enough funds in our account to pay for transaction fees. So the next step will be to go to Remix, which is one of the most used Ethereum integrated development environments. So this, as I just said, was originally designed to work with Ethereum, but because Nova Network and Nebula Testnet leverages on EVM, which stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine, to offer smart contracts compatibility, it is also compatible with Remix. So we're going to be using Remix, and what we need to do now is to create a new file. We can do this clicking on this little button over here. Let's name it cryptonova.sol, which stands for Solidity, which is the programming language we're going to use to deploy our cryptocurrency. So there are several ways for you to do this next step, but the way that we chose to use on this tutorial is to use one of our example smart contracts to create what we call a classic ERC20 token. So you can find this in our documents library under the developers section, and you'll see this one and several other examples that you can simply copy and paste, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So we're copying, going back to Remix, and we're gonna paste it in here. You can change things around. One of the things that you probably will want to change is the name of the contract, which in this case is on line 108, and just really add or remove features that you're going to use or you're not going to use depending on your goal with the release of this new cryptocurrency. So once it has been created, the next step will be to compile the code. So we just pasted the code that we have available in our documents library, and all we need to do is to click on this Solidity compiler icon. Make sure that the compiler version in here matches what we've got in the code. In this case it matches, so we have 0.4.23, 0.4.23, and we can just go ahead, click on compile CryptoNova. So the code has been compiled. If there's any errors, you will see them here, but in this case there was absolutely no error, so we are ready to deploy. So to deploy your smart contract, you have to create on the deploy and run transactions icon. You have to select injected web 3 in order to deploy to the network. Make sure that your wallet is connected to the site before you proceed, and sure enough it is not connected if you look in here, so we just have to follow the same procedure again as with the other site and manually connect to Remix. What I'm gonna do now is not required, but I just like doing this, is to refresh the page once you have connected a new wallet. Don't worry, it saves everything in cache, so all you need to do after you reload the page is to select the smart contract that you have created and compile it again. But doing this just avoids, and I believe it avoids quite a lot of errors that can happen because of cached information. So let's just go ahead and select injected web 3. So let's make sure that we are connected to the website. You can back check it by looking at your wallet address, so it ends with 02B6, and if you look in here, the account ends with 02B6. So it all matches, it all makes sense, so we are ready to deploy, and the next step will be to just set the basic parameters to our cryptocurrency, and in this case there will be only 3. You can do it by clicking on this little arrow, setting first the initial supply. So let's work with 1 million tokens. In this case you can use whatever number you see fit. Let's set a token name. In this case we are going to call it CryptoNova. Let's give it a symbol, normally 3 characters or 4 characters, but it's ultimately up to you. Let's give it a C and V. And once we have all the information set, we click on transact. We will see a pop-up on MetaMask. I personally like to set the transaction fees higher. You don't really need to do this, but by setting it a little bit higher, sometimes you pay a fraction of a cent more and you have your transaction processed more quickly. So we've just done that. Let's just go ahead and click on confirm. And as with the faucet, this process can take, from a few seconds to maybe even more than a minute, and there are several factors that will play onto that. So in this case it was pretty quick. We have deployed our smart contract, received the confirmation, and that's it. We have created our very own cryptocurrency. So you'll see right here that you have a bunch of information. If you have a better look, you see that here you have all the functions available in your cryptocurrency. Again, it falls outside the scope of this video, and it will change depending on which sort of code you use to deploy cryptocurrencies. And the main information that we want from here is the address of the contract. So you can just go ahead and click on copy, go back to MetaMask. You see that some of that balance has been eaten up by the transaction fees that we have just paid. So to add your new cryptocurrency to your wallet, all you need to do is to click on import tokens, and then you have to paste the address that you have just copied, and you see that MetaMask will automatically bring all the information on your very own cryptocurrency. Let's go ahead and add the cryptocurrency. You see that 100% of the supply has been credited to your wallet, the deployer wallet. Let's click on import tokens, and here we are. So if we look at our assets list, now you see that we have the main balance, which is the coin, and we also have our token balance, which is the cryptocurrency we have just created. So now what we need to do is to make this cryptocurrency tradable. This is absolutely not required. Your cryptocurrency at this point is already created and is already operational. You can send it to people, you can transact with it, and you can transfer it to someone else. But making it tradable certainly adds functionality and make your cryptocurrency more appealing to use. The main advantage that I personally think you will have by making it tradable is to allow other people to buy it without you having to manually send your cryptocurrency to them. So as I said, for that we're going to be using Fusion. Fusion is Nova Network's flagship decentralized finance protocol, and it is very easy to use, and we will be able to make it tradable with just a few steps. So the first one, of course, is to connect our wallet, and differently from the other two websites that we have just used, this website is a good example of a platform that will actually offer you an easier way to connect your wallet by simply showing you a pop-up where you will click and connect. So let's go ahead, choose MetaMask, and as I said, you should see then a pop-up where you'll be prompted to connect your wallet. It will automatically pick up the network that you are using, which in this case is Nebula Testnet. And all you need to do to make it tradable is to pull it together with some of the native coin or some other broadly used cryptocurrency. So in this case, we're going to click on liquidity providing and create pool. We will have to manually add our token to the protocol. So we can do this simply by pasting the smart contract address. So you see the token pop up in here. You can add it, click on it, and you have to pair it with some other token so we can have a base price set up. So the way that an automated market maker works, which is what Fusion is also outside the scope of this video, but in short, and what you need to know is that the price will depend on the ratio of the tokens that we're going to pull together. So if you are pulling it with a stable coin that is worth $1, for example, if you're pulling one token for every one stable coin that we're putting into the pool, the value of that token will automatically be $1. And as this dynamic works itself out, with people buying new tokens and selling tokens into the pool, the price will go up and down. So in this case, we're going to pull it with NBX. So we'll just go ahead and click in here, and in this particular pool, we're going to add half of our available supply, which is 500,000 SNV, and we will pull it with 0.005 NBX. You'll be prompted to approve the usage of SNV. You only need to do this with tokens, and you only need to do this once. And once it is approved, all you will have to do is to supply. And when you click on supply, what's going to happen is that the protocol will actually take your tokens and will pull them together into what is called a liquidity pool. So as easy as that, we can now click on supply. In this, again, will prompt another transaction. I will do what I said I like to do before, which is just increasing the transaction fee allowance, so we can maybe get this transaction to be approved or to be picked up by a validator quicker. So the transaction has been submitted. Let's click on close, and all we need to do really is to wait for the transaction to confirm, so we can then start trading our token using Fusion. And the process of transacting after the liquidity pool is created is also fairly easy, and all you need to do to add your newly created cryptocurrency into Fusion is to paste the cryptocurrency address. So let's wait for the transaction to confirm. As I said, sometimes it takes a few seconds and sometimes it takes a little bit longer depending on how busy the network is, but here we go. The transaction has been confirmed. We have added 500,000 SNB and 0.005 NBX onto the pool. Okay, so we are now all good to go. We have created a cryptocurrency and we have made it tradable. If you go here to liquidity portfolio, you will be able to see your liquidity. So in this case, we hold 49.99 NLT tokens, which stands for Nova Liquidity Token, which equals this amount of SNV plus this amount of NBX. So the difference in here is actually the fee that we have paid to the protocol to manage this whole operation. So all we need to do now in order to transact and really exchange our token is to click on swap exchange. We will select NBX, but instead of wrapping it to wrapped NBX, in this case we're going to change our NBX to SNB. So if we add the number 1, we will see the price. So every NBX is worth 497,504 SNV, and that is because the imbalance of the liquidity pool. So there's pretty much non-liquidity for this pool, so the price impact, as you can see here, is 99.2%. To avoid situations like this, you have to pull more tokens that are not your own, and by doing that you will diminish and reduce the amount of price impact for every transaction, and it will also inspire more credibility to your community. So let's go ahead and reduce this dramatically. So the price of the amount of tokens of which you can buy without causing disruption to the pool is currently around 0.0001, and 0.0001 NBX is worth 9,775 SNB approximately. So we have created, it is tradable. All you need to do to trade these tokens is to click on swap, confirm the swap, and again we will prompt another transaction, and you will then be able to confirm it and go ahead with your swap. So as easy as that, we have submitted our transaction, and this kind of wraps up the tutorial. We have created our cryptocurrency and made it tradable, and all using Nebula testnet. If you want to deploy it into the mainnet, all you need to do is, instead of having Nebula testnet selected in here, you do everything again but with Nova Network. That's it for this video today, guys. I hope it has been useful, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Discord or any of our other social media platforms. We are just ready to answer to all of your questions, and we really like engaging with the community. So that's it, and I see you on the next one.